Hey, good morning, everyone. Alec Purves here, your candidate for Ward 2 here in Guelph, Ontario. So I'm outside the Sleeman Centres right here. What I want to talk about a little bit is about as far as the environment. And over a decade ago, we had a huge fiasco that took place that city council back then, they came up with this great idea that they wanted to be able to use the boiler systems here in order to be able to heat a lot of the businesses and a lot of the industrial area, the University of Guelph, River Run, a lot of different places. They wanted to be able to heat them using natural gas from the boiler system and the electrical nodes that are located underneath the Sleeman Center. Now, the only thing is that they spent millions and millions of taxpayers' dollars talking about this, doing consulting, started building it, the whole bit, but they didn't have any real customers sign up. Is Sleeman signed up? Is the River Mills condominium down at 150 Wellington? They signed up. River Run, which is right across the street, they were supposed to sign up, but it never actually got that far because Deloitte did an audit back in 2016, 2017, and they realized this thing was just bleeding money, left, right, and center. Not only that, but it was nowhere near meeting the environmental targets that the city was hoping that it would happen and everything else. So the whole project ended up costing millions and millions of dollars. And in the end, city just gave up on it. They ended up selling it for $8 to Cascara Energy. So this is one of those things where when you come up with these great plans, but you don't see it all the way through, not from a business perspective or, so a lot of times it's just virtue signaling. Oh, we're going to spend $250 million saving the energy and saving the environment and everything else, and it never materializes. This is probably the best example of the city wasting millions and millions of taxpayers' money to be able to do this whole virtue signaling as far as the environment, but they're absolutely not doing anything at all. And this whole project was basically tossed away and it was sold to Cascara Energy for $8. My plan is basically, let's find some things that we could help right now in Ward 2. And the biggest thing that I'm looking at is the old Imical site down at 200 Beverly. That place has been a wasteland for decades. The only thing the city has really done there is put a fence around it. Why don't we just use 10,000 trees using grant money from the provincial and federal government and let the trees look after the land. Let them absorb the contaminants, let them stop as far as the runoff from all the rainwater and everything else. Fence it off still will help the tree canopies targets because the city's missing those targets big time. They're supposed to be planting between 78 and 80,000 trees a year. The best year to date, they've only planted 24,000. 10,000 trees in the Imical site would definitely help as far as the tree canopy aspects. It would create a carbon sink in Ward 2, and it would stop being such an eyesore to all the residents that live around that area. We would use grant money that would fund the vast majority of that entire project. We could do it in a 2-year stage. It could easily be done planting 5,000 trees a year. But the city still has these grand ideas. They want to develop the most contaminated site in Guelph, and they still want to put housing development on top of it. Again, just some examples, but this is probably one of the worst failures that the city's had in recent memory. And this happened just a decade ago, and a lot of people that are on the current city council were the ones that were really pushing this project. And then it ended up blowing up on them big time. And it cost taxpayers millions and millions of dollars, and then they sold the whole thing for $8. My name is Alec Purves, and I'm your Ward 2 candidate here in Guelph, Ontario.